Your existence is the cooperative outcome from your dad and your mom, a man and a woman, after having sex. If a sperm ejects and combines Y sex chromosome with X sex chromosome in an egg, a boy will come out. If a sperm acts with X, then a girl will come out. Today, on the earth, 7 billion people like you are made by their parents, man and a woman, the only 2 genders in human beings. And such cooperative production loop has been lasting for millions of years. Neither you are male or female. After growing up, you hunt for the other gender, to date, to get married, in one word, to be together. However, such granted social convention always comes along with all kinds of misunderstanding, complaints, and conflicts between man and woman. Even if they love each other, no wonder even in the happiest marriage, for the whole life, couples could have impulses to kill each other for 200 times. Okay, all clear. Why? Because except sex demands and outcomes, in fact, man and woman are totally 2 different creatures, which instinctively and socially share few in common. Men are insane with all kinds of tech inventions, such as cars, gadgets, women with cosmetic and makeup, and are more effectual with something aggressive, with violence, weapons, and military missions. Women, compassion, child care, and world peace. Men like more adventures, whatever in sports, business, and investment. Women, a few do the same, but more prefer safe, even conservative. Men are easily attracted and seduced by visionary beauty. A beautiful beach. Whereas women are more likely to believe sweet, even blunt words, full of bullshit. Men tend to spend money on cars and retirement houses and retirement preparation first. However, women, house and children education first. In finding their way, men rely more on that reckoning. That is, they determine their position from the directions and the distance traveled. Women tend to rely more on landmarks. If we dive into psychology, men are better at performing single tasks. Women are better at multitasks. Men are better at spatial processing and sensomotor speed. Women are better at attention, word memory, and social cognition, and verbal abilities. Men are better at visualizing a 2 or 3-dimensional ship rotated in space, at correctly determining angles from the horizontal, at tracking moving objects, and at aiming projectiles. Women are better at fine motor coordination and retrieving information from a long-term memory. And a big stress, men have more stronger emotional reaction. However, women less by studies. But the surprising thing is, women's stress level are more average twice as high as men's and 4 times higher at home after undergoing thorough and pains. Men are twice as likely to become alcoholic and drug dependent and 40% more likely to develop schizophrenia. Men's death rate is perhaps 10 times that of women, and they are 4 or 5 times as likely to get a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. Women are twice as likely as men to experience clinical depression in their lifetimes for a post-traumatic stress disorder. More apparently, global mean height for men is about 171 cm, women 159 cm. The average lifespan for men is about 67, for women 71. Because of so many differences in our daily life, in many cases, understanding easily dissipates between men. However, once cross-gender, no way. So men go to clubs, bars to relieve their stress, whereas compassion easily flows between women. Once cross-gender, no way. So girls easily cry and donate once they are moved by the disabled and orphans. Men do come from Mars, women do come from Venus. However, on the Earth, they are supposed to be together with so many different trains and almost impossible communication mechanism. Many couples live together for years with faded romantic love and endless house chores, except sexual demands and children care responsibility. Over time, hardly could they find something more to share with each other. How about share life stress? For years, they should have known what the creatures are on Earth besides them. Hi, a formula stranger! In reality, many men and women continue to keep their commitment to be together. In many cases, this is not because of the forever lasting love between each other, nor finally they get to know each other, but just because they have got used to have each other. Not only the daily life habits they once built up for each other, but the underlying bonds with oxytocin, the love and hate hormone. If we go back to the original question, why men and women together? We have to go back to the very first stage, how they met and what they met for. Well, in most cases, the answers are the same: sex, the dating and meeting needs in animals. Like many other animals on the earth, at a young age, male humans and female humans tend to meet together and have sex. Testosterone in men and estrogen in women increase and need to meet each other to release off with the so-called love. By the way, new babies come. However, men and women are so different that even their sexual demands for their whole life are unmatchable. In the whole life, every man has to have 30 times testosterone than average that of women. That is why men tend to hunt for women all the time. For what? Sex, especially at their 20s. Also, another unmatchable evidence is from during sex. Men produce more testosterone, which increases their body pressure and makes them excited during sex, even after sex. However, women produce oxytocin, which allows them to go to sleep, especially after sex. That is why, after sex, men tend to keep sober, even start to thinking something very important, whereas women just go to sleep. In addition, men need sex for their whole life, even if at elder 70s to 80s years old. Women no need sex after menopause, on the average after 50 to 60-year-old. In that case, why don't men marry women who are 10 years younger than them? Men's sexual demands reach the peak at their 20s. However, women at 30s to 55. Oh, so why don't men marry women who 10 years older than them? But they have other differences in other aspects. Divorce, problem solved. But they have shared children and properties. Sad story, they end. So it's not all at all that today, divorce and going solo lifestyle have become so popular worldwide. The children cry and feel helpless though. Many people, after divorce once, then tend to think another better house. However, sadly, this can't make any change on the essential differences between men and women. Damn, another match, another matchable. Unmatchable again. Whether you two will continue or separate. Arguably, it really depends on how much you are willing to compromise in this factual unmatchable relationship. Different compromise, different outcomes. Yes, compromise is the magical secret in a relationship. Compromise allows couples to stay together with hidden or apparent differences. The way of compromise, explicit or implicit, makes couples endure each other totally different. But again, why men and women together except sex? Because such agenda in our social convention between men and women allows them, after giving birth to new generations and then more importantly, to share or to kill the loneliness.